Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Week 46 of PB Sports Talk Show. Luke on screen with me. Luke, good morning. What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Coach. Not much.
We
How you
are
doing?
here. Yeah, what's that?
I said not much is going on. How are you?
I'm doing good. A little tired this morning, but we're gonna push through and get ramped up here in some of the discussion. I'm sure there's some topics on the agenda that revolve around the Lions, Michigan, the WNBA. A little bit of Kansas, more NFL stuff, a little bit of talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, a little bit of fantasy football talk, and we'll get you caught up and up to speed on some other things. First of all, though, before we get into the topics, is our PB for 3 section. I'll try to keep it at 3 minutes. We just got over, it's not a ton, but it's a start. Just got over 1,000 followers on X yesterday. Things are growing and picking up. So we're excited about that. We got a lot more eyeballs on what it is we're doing, and we thank you for that, and we appreciate it. Our main platform site, please do not forget, you can get a free membership or a paid membership, depending on whatever you're comfortable with, at patreon.com/PB Sports. We've got a whole bunch of different memberships that have different content in each of those, depending on where you are, if you're a coach, a player, a parent, just an overall sports fan. If you like a pick segment, all of that is involved in the different packages. And then separately from that are our PB picks packages. There are monthly packages. There are season packages. Hey, it's 1 week from today. College football, 1 week from today. And the NFL, 20 days from today. Can't believe it. It's flown by. It seems like it was just the Super Bowl. 2025 season is upon us. Personally, I'm sick of talking about it. I'm sick of seeing all the posts about it. I'm ready to get to it, see everything that we've been talking about and things that everybody else has been talking about, see it all come to fruition. All the rookies, all the hype, guys who change teams. This team's done. This team's going to be great. I want to see it get on the field. This rookie camp, I've had enough of it. When it doesn't count and it doesn't matter. But anyways, on the patreon.com/PB Sports site. Go on up there, take a look at it, become a free member to start if you want. You can see some of the content and stuff. You can get involved in the internal chat that we have with our group of founding members as we go here. That'll all be kicked in and be live. Remember, you can see my history as a pick guy, particularly last year and the year before, and predictions that I make on draft picks and certain things. They tend to come true more times than not. 3-0 on the preseason, which is not anything that I ever recommend because there's so much unknown. Players don't play, etc. But 3-0, I will release one more for free a little bit later. Not going to do it here on the show. It'll be later. You got to go to patreon.com/PB Sports, though, to get that pick, and it will drop shortly after our show, and we'll end today somewhere right around 11:30. First game tips, I think, today at about 1 o'clock. So, look at that, right on 3 minutes. So, all right, Luke, without further delay, we're going to get into the Lions schedule. One pride, baby. Before I do, again, for those who don't know about this, those who follow me, you do know this. 5 years ago, it's 4 years ago, this is the 5th season, when Dan Campbell got hired, I made a prediction after he made the comment to a reporter that said, what about the same old Lions? And he said, I don't want to hear that shit around here again. And it was from that moment, not the bite the kneecaps moment, but it was right after that moment that I predicted that the Lions would be in the Super Bowl within 5 years, not win it, but be in it. And of course, a couple of years ago, up 17 against Frisco at the half, right there on the cusp, they couldn't close the deal. And then obviously we know what happened last year. So this is year 5. This is it. This is make or break. Either I'm going to be right or I'm going to have egg on my face. We'll see what happens. And of course, I picked, a 5-year plan, and the 5th year is a ridiculous schedule. And we're going to go over that now just to see how truly difficult that this is. All right, Luke. So we're going to go through each game, everyone. We're going to do a prediction, my prediction and Luke's prediction. And I have broken it down into 5 different seasons within one. As a former coach, doesn't matter what sport it is, you're breaking your season down into segments. Typically, it's 25%, 25, 25, and 25. I've basically done that. 17 obviously doesn't divide by 4 equally. So there's a pack of 5 games in one of them. So you have the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and then the fifth quarter being the playoffs. So week 1, which is 3 weeks basically from tomorrow, September 7th, it's the Lions on the road, which they sure are a lot in the first 4 out of the 6 weeks, on the road against Green Bay. Luke, what you got, my man?
I got
What's
the
that?
Lions. I got the Lions.
All right, why don't you go through each of the first 4, the Packers, Bears, Ravens, and Browns games. Tell us who you pick, win or lose, and why.
All right. I got them starting out good against the Packers, away or not, it doesn't matter. A couple years ago, they went into Arrowhead and knocked out the Chiefs. Granted, Chiefs had some injuries or whatever, but Packers aren't where the Chiefs were at that time anyways. So all that just to say they're not scared of the moment. They're eager for it. And Jared Goff, not great in the cold, but it's early. So we're getting the away game in Lambeau out of the way early, which is good.
Yeah, it'll be probably 70 degrees at least.
Yep, got to win there. Chicago, that's a win. Just as a Lions fan, there's no way we're losing to Chicago. Can't get behind that at all.
What, Ben Johnson's not going to roll up 70 on us?
No. Should be no. That would ruin my week for sure. But yeah, Bears, they're not where we are either. First team, Packers are good, but the first team that's I think a true Super Bowl contender up there with the best in the league is the Ravens. What is that? 8:15 Monday Night Football in Baltimore. That's a tough one.
So what do you got?
I want the Lions to win every
sit on
game.
The fence, man. You got to pick one.
Yep, I say the Lions win that. I think the Lions pull it off.
Is that your guess, or is that really what you would take?
No, that's what I'm taking. I'll bet on it.
All right. So you got the Lions starting out at 3-0, eh?
Yeah.
All right.
I got the Lions starting out at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0.
Well, don't tell us that yet. We're not there yet. All right, Browns, week 4.
That's cakewalk. Lions. No, we don't even know who their quarterback is.
In the NFL, regardless of opponent, a cakewalk. Honestly.
If there is, it's the Browns. Probably not, but if there was, it's the Browns.
I hear you, but we know it from our background together. Sometimes injuries, fatigue, guys banged up, certain freaky things happen. I'm not saying they're going to lose to the Browns. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, I don't know if there's a 100% lock, but yes, out of that schedule, if you were to look at anybody, you would circle that one and say, yeah, they got a great shot. All right. So you got,
absolutely.
You got
the 4-0.
First 4. Okay. All right. So let me come back at it now with my first 4. So Green Bay, I have a ton of respect for. I truly do. I am a huge Jordan Love fan. Anybody who knows me, I'm saying that as, hey, I'm a Lions fan. That's in my heart. There's in no way a Packers fan. I just call things the way that I see them, regardless of who the team plays. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a very good show if that's all we did was talk about the Lions. But Jordan Love, if the dude can actually stay healthy, he's a terrific quarterback. They've got a lot of weapons over there and a ton of respect for LaFleur. They're going to be formidable in week 1 at home. We've had their number as of late, and they don't like that. But I got the Lions winning that game. Week 2, man, oh, man. And to have it at home, to have Ben Johnson's ass come at home, I mean, I just like it. I get a lot of reverb on social about, oh, you're all, butt chapped about Ben Johnson going to the Bears. No, I'm actually not. If you don't want to be here and you constantly are, flirting around with another job, then go ahead and take that job. You have every right to do it. But we want people that are going to stay here. And I just don't like the way he handled it. And then his arrogance, that's coming to Ford Field. It's going to be lit up on fire. They're going to be chanting. Everything's going to be going on. So that's 2-0. They'll be in Caleb Williams' face all game long. They're going to try to rattle him. Week 3, as Luke said, on the road, Monday Night Football in Baltimore against Luke's favorite player, Lamar Jackson.
What?
I had to just say that.
Yeah.
Ravens team, home or away. I actually have this being the Lions' first loss. This will put them at 2-1. Hate to do it. They don't play Baltimore well, and they certainly really never get him at home, although they did get him at home for Justin Tucker's, 61-yard field goal about 5 years ago. But the last couple have been there. Hasn't worked out very well. It's not a weather concern at that point, outdoor, which Jared Goff has put that to rest anyways. I mean, it's all the, data is there to prove that. But 2-1 at that point, and then I agree with Luke in week 4, back at home against the Browns and bring it to 3-1. So Luke, week 5, Bengals on the road. Take it away for the next 4.
All right, Bengals. I have a win. I have Lions beating the Bengals. Something's telling me the Bengals are going to start out decent for the first time since Burrow's been there. They'll probably be 3-0 or something like that. They start out with the Browns too. But by the time they get to the Lions, they'll probably be cooling off. Lions will be – I hate the Bengals too. So I'm taking the Lions. Chiefs, that's the first Lions loss. I just rethought about it. Chiefs get us. You can't win every game in the NFL, and that seems like a spot. If they do, if I'm right about them winning all those games, this feels like a spot where it comes down to fourth quarter, or so it's one of those games within 7 points, within 5 maybe, and that usually tends to go Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes' way. So I'll take the Chiefs there, and unfortunately, we drop a second one in a row to the Bucs.
So that's Sunday night football against the Chiefs, followed up by Monday night football against the Bucs. So you have the Lions losing at home against the Bucs on Monday Night Football.
It says Tampa Bay, right? At Tampa Bay? No?
Week 7. Week 7 is the Bucs, and that is at home.
Oh, that's what's highlighted. Okay, that's at home. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters. I think
the white or the gray shaded is the road. Okay.
Yeah, I was looking at the words, but I'll take the Bucs. They played us in Detroit really well in the playoffs last year, 2 years ago.
Yes, they did.
Beat us last year, and then 2 years ago they almost knocked us out of the playoffs. So I think they got. I'm here too. I'm in Tampa. There's a lot of hype going around. It feels like Detroit. Like they love their team this year, and I think they squeak one out against Detroit, and then right before the bye week though.
Okay, and then coming out of the bye, give us
coming out of the bye. Yep, you got to go Lions. I think they come out of the bye hot. That's my projection. They drop 2 before the bye, and then come out hot, come out swinging, take down the Vikings. I got one more after that?
Nope. That's the first 9. So you got them at 7-2 through the first 9, or the first 2 seasons as I've laid it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So week 5 against the Bengals. To be totally honest, I changed it this morning. I released a version of this about 2 or so months ago, right when the schedule was announced who they would play, but not where they were playing. I went ahead and I did a mock schedule, and this one I changed. So I had the Lions winning in the first mock, and I changed it this morning to a loss against Cincinnati. I'm not a big Cincinnati guy. I'm really not. But there's going to be a bit of an adjustment period, I believe, more so defensively than offensively for the Lions, because obviously new coordinator, no longer Aaron Glenn there, even though Shepard has been in the system and he understands the personnel and what's going on, Hutchinson being back. You've got, McNeil is still out. You've got some new players, DJ Reed. You got some new guys in there. It's going to take a little bit, and that is obviously a high-powered, high-throttle offense on the road in Cincinnati. I have the Lions losing that game. Week 6, also on the road, Sunday Night Football in Kansas City. Obviously, the Lions have proven that they can handle their business there. I'm not a big fan of what we're going to talk about a little bit later as it relates to the Chiefs. But keeping it here for right now, I have the Lions winning that game on the road. Then follow up, as I said, with when Luke spoke, Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football. Boy, the Lions 10 years ago, could you ever imagine that happening? So many
that's
nationally
awesome.
televised games back-to-back weeks. I mean, it was the Lions on Thanksgiving and maybe one more, and that was pretty much it. Not anymore. So following that up, Monday Night Football. I'm in Florida, also 2 hours away from you, but yes, I'm aware of the Bucks. Excitement and such. I want to get to a game there so bad and see that environment. Who knows? Maybe. Well, actually, that one's at home, so I take that back. Monday night at home at Ford Field. I know you love Baker. I know they're solid in a lot of ways. They're extremely well coached, but I got the Lions winning that game. The bye week in week 8, and then Minnesota week 9. Stop the madness about JJ McCarthy. He is and going to be very good. They have weapons all over the field. It is an upgrade from Sam Darnold. Stop the madness. I heard somebody this morning say Minnesota is going to finish last in the division. That's insanity. Total insanity. The kid can play. Watch it develop. But I have the Lions in week 9 winning over Minnesota. So that would bring, believe it or not, us to both having the Lions 7-2 to start the first 9 games. This has not been planned, folks. I have no idea who he's picking. He has no idea who I'm picking. I'm learning for the first time just like you. I can't believe it's a couple of different teams, but we're both 7-2. All right, week 10.
All right, week 10, Washington. That's payback time. That's without Ben Johnson goofing it up. That's payback. We're coming for their heads on that one, or their kneecaps, whichever you want to say.
That's on
Lions
the road,
Doesn't matter. They got us on the road. That just makes it a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
Philadelphia, obviously a tough one. I'm gonna say they lose that one. That's at home or on the road. I can't really see it.
It's on the road.
All right, yeah, I don't like them in that one. 2 big wins out of the bye, and then kind of, that's a fair loss there. I'll take the Eagles. That's not really our style of ball. That's a tough matchup for us. So, unfortunately, Eagles. Then I think we take care of the Giants.
That was Sunday Night Football too, by the way. Philadelphia.
Yeah, dang. That is awesome. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Lions over the Giants. They don't. Different level. And then I will regrettably I'll take the Packers because I don't think we sweep. I don't think we go 4-0 against them the last 2 years. It's just not how the division
Lions
works.
at home against the Packers on Thanksgiving. You got them losing.
Yeah, I wanted to split, but I don't want us losing the opening night. So it was a tough decision.
Not what you want, right? It's what you think. So it's like you're putting your money on this. You would bet against the Lions.
I just wouldn't bet on the Lions, probably.
What's that?
I just probably wouldn't bet on the Lions, but I wouldn't bet. I've never bet for the Packers, but yeah, I think they split with them. I think they split with the Packers.
Okay, so you've gone through the third season. So Washington game, I've got the Lions in the revenge spot as well. I love what they're doing over there. I love what Dan Quinn's doing. 2 days before the 2024 draft, I said on film, and it's on patreon.com/PB Sports. It's on X at PB Sports Talks, where I predicted that Jaden Daniels would be head and shoulders the number 1 pick, or should have been the number 1 pick ahead of Caleb Williams. So I love what they're doing. They got to get McLaurin in camp. They will. I love what Cliff Kingsbury did yesterday or day before. He came out and said he needs to be in camp. And we can't do this and we can't do that. I understand the guy had 13 touchdowns last year, but there's a reason you had 13 touchdowns last year and never had it before, Terry, because your team's better and you have a awesome quarterback. So that's a tough game, but they'll win that game, in my opinion, on the road. Followed up by the Eagles again on Sunday Night Football, Week 11. I got the Lions losing that game. Of course, I'm going to be rooting for them, but this is not what I want. This is not my head thinking and my heart thinking. It's my head thinking. And I will take Philadelphia in that game. So the L for the Lions. The Giants at home. Huge Jackson Dart guy. He will be starting by then. If he does not start the season, he will be starting by then. I have him as the number 1 rated quarterback coming out. That is also on film. I put that out about, I don't know, almost 2 months before the draft. He's going to be terrific. They've got weapons over there. Don't take them lightly. And Dable's a good coach, and he will have them geared up. That is 12 weeks into the season. But, injuries, there's all sorts of things that can happen, but I got the Lions winning that game. Green Bay at home on Thanksgiving. That's a win. And it's a sweep of the series. I know what you're saying, Luke. It's hard to beat any team twice, let alone some of them has got to do it 3 times in a year. Like if they played the Packers a 3rd time somehow in the playoffs, that would require winning 3 times. So hard to do, but I have them winning against them. And then that brings the total compiled record to 10-3 at that point. So through the first 3 seasons, the 3rd season being Washington, Philadelphia, New York, and Green Bay. That's season 3, as I call it. That quarter of the season, I have them going 3-1. So the Cowboys, Luke, week 14, Thursday night football, in Detroit.
Yep.
That's actually 3 games in a row in Detroit, which is nice.
Yeah.
At home.
I do want to add, though, last year, they gave us a sweat versus the Bears on Thanksgiving at home. They almost lost. I
remember.
I think I had the Lions. It was like minus 8.5 or something.
Yeah, it was a big number.
It was. They were 1 pass away from, or 1 missed timeout call away or whatever from beating us. So
just and that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I tried to say earlier. I didn't like the movie Any Given Sunday, but the phrase is true that on any given Sunday, you could just be off, a step behind, and the other team could be, max. And remember this is so important to remember. So whether it's the Browns or whether it's, the Bears or whoever, the Giants, it's like the Lions walk around with a target on their back now.
Yeah.
It's no longer, it's an easy thing. You want to be considered the best. You want to be the best. You've got to beat the best. And teams circle this stuff. So you can expect their best punch. So that Cowboy game, week 14, what do you got?
I got Detroit. Detroit over Dallas. I think Dallas is going to have a better year than people are thinking, though. I kind of like them this year. I think Dak has a good year. But
based on what? Let me just stop you there. Based on what?
What do you mean? I think Dak's going to have a good bounce back year.
Yeah, based on what? Why do you think that?
Based on talent, based on
his talent or who he's got around him?
Both.
Okay.
He didn't have a second option really last year or the year before, and then he had a lot of injuries too. He's healthy now. I think he's good. I liked him when his first couple of years he was good, and then he just plateaued, it seemed like. But now he's got a lot of pressure on him, and he's got some weapons, and I think he's a good enough quarterback to put it all together. So
well, he's the quarterback for the Barnum and Bailey circus. I mean, you got to take that into consideration too, right?
Yeah, but
because it's a circus show over there. You agree with that, right?
Yeah, of course.
What if they lose Micah Parsons? Which is possible, by the way.
Dak will probably have a better year numbers wise if they lose Parsons. Be throwing all game.
Yeah.
But they won't have a good. Yeah, I get what you're saying. If they lose Parsons, this is a for sure Lions. But I'm taking the Lions either way. Parsons or not. Lions over Dallas.
Week 15, Rams on the road.
Yeah, this has became a little rivalry. Feels like with Stafford, and there's always something on the line when we play them. It seems like.
Let me stop you for just a sec, one more time, just because it's relevant. So Stafford's been out. He hasn't taken a snap. He's got a bad back. He's 37 or whatever he is. How do you think Sean McVay's feeling right now? Do you think he'd rather have Jared Goff right now, or do you think he's content because he got a Super Bowl with Stafford? I love revisiting this topic because hindsight, right? A year later, 2 years later, 4 years later.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, it was obviously he's happy with the choice, but 2 years further down the line, it's kind of mucky because Goff's playing best he's ever played. Stafford's on his decline. It's hard to say, but I would probably take the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah. You know what he's got waiting in the wings over there, don't you?
Stetson Bennett, who's over there?
Yep, Stetson Bennett. Yep. And he's already looked. I mean, again, it's preseason and all that. I don't get into all of that because of the level of competition he's playing against, but he's been doing really, really well. And if anybody can make a guy like that, and he's obviously won at the biggest, highest levels in college, it's McVay that can do that. So,
yeah, I don't hate that at all.
I just wanted to point that out. All right, so you have them beating the Rams?
Yeah, I got them beating the Rams.
Okay. Steelers, the remade rocking chair Steelers.
I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah. Again, this is not what I want.
Half your team isn't going to be like on the disabled list by then. Listen to me with the baseball term.
You know the narrative or whatever. Sometimes you jog out on the field, you see another team's jersey, and you just know you just play. That's Aaron Rodgers. If he's walking, he's gave us so much trauma over the years.
He's going to give us trauma at 40 years old. Come on, bro.
He's not scared of the Lions. I'm telling you,
and the Lions are not scared of him. Why would the Lions be scared of Aaron Rodgers at this point? Tell me why.
Maybe he's got one more trick up his sleeve. We'll see. I don't know.
It's just a thing, a potion, like C12, and that's it. Doesn't matter what jersey he's wearing.
No, I don't think so. I think he plays the Lions.
He's 8. Sorry, he's 8 now.
Yeah,
because Bradshaw was 12. So they're going to see number 8, and that's it. Okay.
No, he's going to see the Honolulu blue and get, euphoria.
Is that what it is? All right, I'm going to hold you to that one.
Well, no, I don't want that because I'm not rooting for the Packers or for the.
I know you're not rooting for it. So we're going to come back though, and we're going to revisit this. It's not who you want; it's who you think. So you think the Steelers are going to win? All right, Christmas Day, the Vikings at Minnesota.
Lions.
Okay.
It's getting too close to the playoffs for me to take a loss there. I think we're going deep this year, and we should be getting hot right about there. If we want to make a run for it, that's kind of why I put that Packers loss in there, because that's teams that run through that last 10 games always fold in the first round or two of the playoffs. It feels like you need kind of something in those last games, and I think the Steelers give us that. Maybe the Rams, but Steelers for now. Beat the Vikings and then go on and beat the Bears again.
Okay. Do you have your total record compiled?
I didn't write down those last ones. What's the last 4 I said?
You said they're gonna beat Dallas. They're gonna beat the Rams. They're gonna lose to the Steelers.
13-5.
No, that's 18 games.
12-5.
All right, you figure that out while I go on here. All right, week 14 for me, Dallas, Thursday night football at Ford Field. I'm not buying anything that Jerry Jones is selling, anything that Dallas is selling, just not having it. I don't trust Dak Prescott. If I'm an NFL fan, if I'm a Dallas fan, here we go. He can keep it, and there's no fear whatsoever with Micah or without. So I've got the Lions winning that one. Week 15 on the road against the Rams in the Goff versus McVay and Stafford versus Lions. If he's their quarterback by then, who knows what's going to happen with the back. Whether he is or he isn't, I have the Lions over the Rams in week 15. Steelers at Ford Field. Aaron Rodgers or no Aaron Rodgers with the age that's on that team. I don't expect that team to be fully intact by that far along in the season, to be totally honest with you. It will be very surprising, very aged. A lot of guys north of 34, 35, 36. Obviously, he's 40? And he might even be 41 by then. So I have the Lions winning that game. So that's 3 in a row in what I consider the 4th season. Christmas Day on the road at Minnesota. Again, injuries play all a part of this. This could get blown up very quick if you end up having a second or third string quarterback in. But all things equal, on Christmas Day at Minnesota, I've got Minnesota winning that game. And then week 18, date and time to be determined. It doesn't matter if they play them on the flex game, if they play them at 1, 4, 8, it doesn't matter. Ben Johnson or not. Caleb Williams is a mess. I don't think that thing's going to iron out too well, by the way. I don't think he has the aptitude to do what most any coordinator wants to do, let alone what Ben Johnson wants to do. The guy has had a free-for-all his entire career. He was enabled by Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma, and then later at USC, he was just basically freelancing last year, and now he's expected to be in a structured system, and by all accounts, he is struggling mightily to the extent that people are actually saying Tyson Bagent should get the starts because he's actually doing better than him. So I have the Lions winning that game. So my grand total record is 13-4. In the, let's do it in seasons here. So the first 4 games, I have them 3-1. The second season, which has a bye in it, I have them also 3-1. So 7-2 in the first 2 seasons. The third season, which is week 10 through 13, also 3-1. And then to round out the final portion, the fourth season of the season, I have them at 4-1. That brings the total compiled record through 4 seasons, a quarter, and a quarter at 13-4, heading into the playoffs for the season that truly, truly counts. Luke, what's your total record come to?
I got them at 12-5. Honestly, pretty similar to you. I started out, I got 4-0 first quarter, 2-2 second quarter, 2-2 third quarter, 4-1 to finish the season.
Yeah, and we only differ on a couple of the losses versus wins on those teams. So your overall take of the Lions in terms of where they are versus what the pundits say. So taking into consideration with Ben Johnson being gone and Aaron Glenn being gone, new additions to the roster, having the schedule second or third toughest in the league. By the way, opponent wins percentage on the Lions schedule this year is 0.571. So nearly 60% winning percentage for your opponents. And this is a gauntlet. Unlike, you don't really see this. Great teams see this because the better you are, the tougher schedule you play, the weaker you are, the easier schedule you play. But is any team easy? This is a league of a lot of parity. There aren't going to be too many teams that are like a 2-win or a 3-win team, maybe not even too many 4-win teams. We might see some of the most parity we've ever seen in the league. So when you're taking that whole thing into consideration, Luke, just overall where the Lions stand, forget the record for a moment. Just throw that out. Just your overall assessment of the Lions at this point.
I would say looking at the schedule and everything, it feels good to have our guys back. It feels good to be healthy. And looking at who we play, this is one of the toughest schedules in the league. And nobody really scares me. Every loss that I gave is kind of due to some other thing, but we can win every game. I think we got the talent to win every single game.
So who's not on that schedule that would scare you, like Buffalo?
It's situational for me, honestly. Like a desperate Buffalo later in the season in the cold, yes, that would be scary. I don't know. Certain things, Eagles at home are kind of scary. Obviously, they just won the Super Bowl. A desperate Chiefs. What if the Chiefs need a win to make the playoffs? That's a scary sight. You don't want to see Mahomes with his back against the wall. But just trotting out the guys and playing football, I think the Lions can play with anybody. I'm not really worried about anybody.
Okay. So there's all sorts of pundits out there saying that the Lions window is closing or it's just about to close and all this. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Anyone who talks about a window doesn't understand a very key point. When you are a great organization, there is no window. I'm looking right at the camera because this drives me crazy. You know who has windows? Poor teams that maybe hit it, strike it rich on a couple of free agents and a couple of drafts, and they're not consistent, and they're not sustainable organizations, and there's not a cemented plan or the ability to adjust and modernize with times. Those are the teams that you would say a window. But when you're talking about the Detroit Lions, folks, stop the window bullshit. This is not a window. This is actually a video game. And I put out a graphic yesterday. When you line everybody up, you can say whatever you want. It's like Isaac Tesla. You're adding another guy. And by the way, he's 4'2", 7. You have so Tim Patrick, I love the guy. I love his story. He was valuable for us last year or two, but Tim Patrick is going to lose his starting job. You're going to have Jamison Williams on one side. You're going to have Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other side, and Tesla can play the slot or he can play wide. You're going to put Tesla in the slot. You're going to put Laporta at tight end. You've got Gibbs and Montgomery in the backfield and Goff at the quarterback position with depth basically at most any spot with a guy like Khalif Raymond, with a guy like Tim Patrick. Don't forget about Meeks. I highlighted him very early on, and sure enough, 4 for 83 he had last week. The Lions are loaded. This is not going away. The only thing that could change this is catastrophic injuries. And we saw that last year on a defense that had the most players on the injury list, 17 or 18. Actually, it was 21, I think.
It was in the 20s.
It was in the 20s, 20, 21, 22, the most in the league by far. And yes, everything changed. There were higher scoring games, and you had to outscore them. Defense is down, offense pick them up. If it was in the reverse, offense down, defense picks you up. When you are talented across the roster, offense, defense, special teams, and you have a guy like Brad Holmes who's very much in the mold of an Ozzie Newsome, of a Les Snead, these guys don't build for 1 season or 2 seasons. They're building 3, 5, 7, 10 years out. Yes, Frank Ragnow retired. So that adjusts your draft philosophy, and you take a guy like Tate Rutledge, you take a guy like Miles Frazier. They knew Ragnow was going to retire. They knew he was at least sincerely thinking about it. So you took Williams with your number 1 pick, and then you go O-line. So they understand trenches out. They understand skilled positions, and they're not going to allow. I mean, I have seen zero evidence that this regime does not know how to take this from year 1 to 2 to 3 to 5 to 7 to 10. We're obviously not at 7 and 10, but we have a 4-year sample size here, which is significant to see it go like this. But when you see guys like Tate Rutledge out of Georgia, and you see Miles Frazier out of places like LSU, and you see a safety from Georgia being taken, and even a 7th round wide receiver taken from Georgia, the philosophy and the strategy is designed to be sustainable and to win long term. These are not flashy picks. This is not Jerry Jones. It's like Jerry Jones, and I converse a lot with a guy in Cleveland, and the risk that they take. Isaiah Bond was just cleared out of Alabama on sexual assault. Quishon Judkins was just cleared because he paid off the accuser or the assaulted. And you know, those guys can snap at any minute. That's not how the Lions do it. So again, unless it is a career-threatening or career-ending injury that happens across the board, you're not going to see a drop. You're just not. I'm going to go to my grave saying that this is a new Lion structure. And so maybe not a lot of actually there are guys within the city of Detroit that are saying this. It is not just the mainstream media guys. It is guys in Detroit. It's not a window. They changed offensive coordinators. It's next one up. Please. Here's another one. Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is not the definition of the Lions. They existed before him. They existed with him. They will exist after him. Remember this. Do not forget this. This is Brad Holmes' team and Dan Campbell's team, and it started above them. And if you look at the graphic yesterday, I put people up in the screen that don't get enough credit. Sheila Ford Hamp, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, and then down from there. This whole Ben Johnson nonsense, the guy had a loaded roster that was prepared, and he learned under Dan Campbell. We're going to see how things change now when he has to go be a head coach, and he's going to call all the plays, and he's got a quarterback that doesn't seem to have the mental capacity that Jared Goff has, and a full roster constructed that way, and a guy like Dan Campbell to go to. Folks, relax, and Kelvin Shepard is going to be fine defensively. Morton will be fine offensively. It'll take a game or two. You're going to look at rhythm. You're going to look at precision. You're going to look at total team chemistry, working out a few kinks. That's part of it. That's natural. But they're too good to be down, like too good to not figure it out and work their way through it. There's far too much talent, and they're protected where they need to be. So it's not like, oh, we have Jamar Chase on one side, and we have T. Higgins, and we have this and this, and we've got Joe Burrow, and we're just going to wing it and fling it. They have what they need where they need it. So that's my overall assessment. That's how I get to 13-4. That's how I think that despite this gauntlet, despite 4 of the first 6 on the road, second or third toughest schedule. It's a ridiculous schedule. They're designed for this. They're built for this. People that say they're going to take an automatic backstep because the window's closing and, oh my goodness, the schedule. They're built for this. They talk about this. They prepare for this. They expect this. If you expect greatness and you become great, they don't want to. Teams like that have a reduction sometimes in effort because of the natural tendency to let down against weaker teams. When you are playing better teams, you are ramped for that game. Luke? I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely.
The mental aspect of it is huge.
100%. And just to back off what you said, I've had a lot of conversations with just people my age about, the Lions and football in general. And you're right. The Ben Johnson leaving and Aaron Glenn leaving is like a reason for everybody to write off the Lions or mark them down as a down year or whatever. And I feel like Aaron Glenn was great, especially patching together a defense that was just full of injuries. All respect to him, but it's like you said, it's Dan Campbell and it's Brad Holmes. We still got what who put those guys in place. You know what I mean? Ben Johnson got put in place. Like, we got to just put somebody else there. It's pretty much just like replacing another player in my head,
And I'll go to my grave thinking this too, and everybody I say this to disagrees with me. Aaron Glenn is the bigger loss of those 2 guys. I stick with that. And what's that?
I said that's my buddies too, because he did more with a lot less.
Yes. And that's not to say that Ben Johnson couldn't have done some things with less. I'm not even like going to just scapegoat him or whatever, or try to knock him for that. But Aaron Glenn makes an instant difference. He takes a 75% player, or a 75, we'll use the Madden scale, a 75 on the score rating for Madden, and gets them up in the 80s. Makes guys better, makes a group, makes a segment, offense, defense, special teams, makes an entire defense better by attitude, by teaching, by lessons, by all of it. That's a guy you want to go through a wall for. That's a guy who's maybe likes to run a motor at 60, 70%. You play for, or 70, 80%. You play for Aaron Glenn, you're 110% basically through the wall. And then you say, Coach, what other wall you want me to go through? So he's devoid of talent over at the Jets. There is no question about that. Justin Fields is not the answer, poor guy. I mean, I just don't think he's an NFL, like a top 20 NFL quarterback. So he doesn't have all the pieces over there. But if you wanted to bring the Jets back to respectability and get them going in the right direction, and then hopefully you can have some good drafts, Aaron Glenn's your guy. Ben Johnson is going to struggle. I think he has a major attitude issue. I think he's a lot about himself. It was funny to watch. I saw the clip of their rookie night last night, and Colston Loveland from Michigan got up there and he did a rap song. And he was obviously from Michigan, and Hutchinson's from Michigan. He was no Aiden Hutchinson. And, Aiden did the Michael Jackson, Billie Jean up in front of everybody. And Colston, he did a good job. But it's like, go ahead, try to do your best, Ben. And when you come into town, or we come into your town, let's see what you do. Shut me up. Make me wrong. I just don't think that I am. I think the Lions are primed. Could I be wrong on the pick this year that 5 years they go to Super Bowl? There's no 100% that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. But we can debate 13-4 versus 12-5. And I put this out yesterday. Lions fans, will close with this. Let us never forget what we are witness to. This is greatness, folks. This is what, as a Lions fans for 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever years, we were clamoring for. We got little bits and pieces of it in 91 with the run and shoot and Mouse Davis, and then a little bit of a glimpse with Wayne Fonts there for a little bit in the 91 game, which I was at the Silverdome, 38-6 over the Cowboys. And I mean, I almost got literally trampled as like, what was I, 19 at the time, and I had a 10-year-old with me, not my 10-year-old, but I was holding on to him for dear life because the place was mad. It was crazy. 80,000 in the Silverdome. It was nuts. We had little segments of time to feel good about what we had for the Lions. This is every year expectation now. This is not going away. And so I think a lot of people took for granted Barry Sanders. And I think when he was gone, people missed him more and respected him and his game more after he was gone. We took it for granted. It's like you're used to it, and there's Barry again. Oh, my God, look what Barry did. Oh, yeah, look what Barry did. You look back now and you think unmatched, in my opinion. Yeah. People say, Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders. Are you serious? Like, legitimately, are you serious? The Dallas Cowboys with Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin versus Barry Sanders with who? Eric Kipple, Eric Kramer, Scott Mitchell. I mean, we could go through the list. It's kind of, sad.
Yeah.
So love what you're seeing right now. It's like an honor. It's a privilege to have a team like this. Stop with the BS and look at what's really going on. I can go on forever about this. It drives me insane.
Yeah, it's funny too. People more your age kind of are, who I've talked to, are a little bit jealous of not so much me, but maybe 5 years younger than me that just walked into a competitive team every year. You didn't have to wait.
You don't have the scars, bro. You don't have the scars and the hardship of watching them screw it up.
I got a little bit, maybe like 10 years, just my childhood.
They invented ways to lose, you understand? Invented. Now, I talk again. There's a lot of people now I converse about football with Cleveland fans. Cleveland is basically now the old Detroit. Like they keep drafting questionable people. By the way, did you know Deshaun Watson is on track? He's on track to be in the conversation, to be in the mix as a quarterback for them. They have all his money. It's like they have all his money on the books. So if he's raring to go,
I think without question, he's the most talented guy they have, right?
Well, based on past, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying much, but
based on, I was a huge Deshaun Watson guy.
Yeah, me too. When he went there, I was like, oh, here we go.
It was like before the women, my whole outlook about him changed after that. But if you're going to say, is he more talented than Joe Flacco? Is he more talented than Pickett? Yeah, we'll see about Sanders and Dillon Gabriel yet to come. Which, you know what? Speaking of that, I know it's a Cleveland conversation, but you're 6'5", right?
Yeah.
So, and you obviously played the quarterback position at a high level. We got into a debate yesterday about Dillon Gabriel being 5'11", and he was like 5 of 16 or something like that. And one guy I converse with, and he might even be on here right now. Hit me up, Roberto, if you're on here. That the reason he says, probably the reason that happened is height. And I'm like, you're crazy, man. The dude played in 2 Power 5 conferences, Oklahoma and Oregon. He's played against, he was rolling out. That was what the story was. He was rolling out a lot, I guess, in camp and making his throws. And he says he's probably rolling out because he can't see over the line. So I just did some quick research. He's 5'11". Russell Wilson's 5'11". A couple other quarterbacks 5'11", and then a whole bunch that are 6 foot. Baker Mayfield being one, Drew Brees being another one. I mean, not everybody's Justin Herbert at 6'6". There's a lot of 6'2" guys, 6'3" guys, but I don't believe that Dillon Gabriel is going to be a problem with his height. What do you think about him at 5'11"?
Obviously, height's a plus. It rarely ever is it a negative, but being short, it is harder. There's certain things you have to get more acclimated to the system that you're in, because there's a lot of guessing. When you see a guy running like a post or something, and then you lose him behind your lineman's head, you kind of got to guess where he's going to be a little bit. So it's harder than being able to see everything, obviously. But
so he can't see over guys, right? But every quarterback's got to find a passing lane through the hands and stuff.
Right.
So he's looking for little, there we go with the word windows. Yeah. He's looking for little passing lane windows. Best you can tell, you were 6'5", seeing over most people, right?
Right.
Although you played at a very high level, Dearborn Divine Child. These guys had, Sauce Gardner you played against, Aiden Hutchinson you played against. They had a lot of talent. So from where you're sitting, you feel obviously like an advantage. If you could imagine yourself shrinking down to 5'11", he's left-handed, so it's a little bit different angle. But how much would that have changed things for you?
I wouldn't have been as good personally. I don't think I would have been as successful just because, like, I don't know. I mean, he grew up with it. I've been used to it. I've been just that much taller than everybody at every step of the way, so I'm used to it. But I think, you're not talking about a guy that is, he just got to the NFL and now he's short. He's been short when he was a 5-star recruit. He's been there. He's been doing it his whole life. So it's hard for me to say as a tall guy, but they've been doing it their whole lives, so they figure out a way. It's not like it's all of a sudden a problem is what I'm saying. When they played against everybody, they played against Ohio State. They got big D linemen too, just same height as the NFL, maybe not as quick or strong or whatever, but they're just as hard to see over, so I don't think it's definitely harder, but I don't think it'll be a problem.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. So the argument is Shedeur Sanders is 6'1.5", 6'2". He didn't make this argument. I'm saying it. So if you're going to argue 6'1" versus 5'11", or even 6'2" versus 5'11", how much of a difference do you think that makes? That's halfway the distance between 5'11" and you.
Yeah. So if look at the D linemen. They're probably all
6'3",
pushing like 6'4",
6'2", 6'5".
6'3". Yeah, so if you're 6 foot, 6'1", it's the same thing. You're not going to be able to see over them anyways. It's kind of those bigger guys that, like Josh Allen, can see all
6'5".
the levels. He can see the linemen's heads, the linebackers, the safeties, and it's just a bonus. Because when those guys, you can't see. Yeah, it's a huge bonus, But
you know what the
Breeze
average
did it. People have done it.
And he had to adjust his release, and he admitted that he would be leaning up. If you look at his delivery and the platform, he was always like kind of leaning up and throwing over like this.
Yeah.
And he admitted that the reason that he did that was to help compensate, for the difference. Russell Wilson's 5'11". I mean, Russell Wilson's had a very successful career, right?
Yeah, there's ways to drop back, get your space, and find the lanes, and those guys always seem to be very serious as well because they have to, they're very particular about their timing. And you need to run this route at 2.5 yards and break it off right away. Like there's no, like Josh Allen, just run in. I can see where you're at. I'll throw it where you are.
Less room for error.
Yeah, exactly. They can't see them.
Hey, that's a great point. They're thinking in a different way.
Yeah, it's like a different game. Like have you done a VR football game?
No,
you put it on and you play with the sticks or
saying.
whatever.
Yeah.
The guy they give you is like 8 feet tall. Like you can see over everything. And it's like it's not realistic. You can't
you're talking different arm angles. You're talking he's very mobile. He's left-handed. So that may actually help him a little bit in terms of the lanes versus a right-hander. Do you know what the average height of an NFL quarterback is?
I do. I was always told maybe 6'2",
6'3". The current average NFL quarterback is 6'3". So what does that tell you? That tells you you've got Herbert at 6'6", Josh Allen at 6'5". You got a bunch of those guys, but then you have guys like Mahomes that's not overly tall, and there's a lot of guys in that 6'1" range too. And then of course a couple that fall not many, but a couple that fall below 6 feet. And his answer was, well, the 4 guys you listed or the 5 guys you listed, only 2 were decent and the others were terrible. And I can't even recall who I had on that list. It was Russell Wilson. It was Drew Brees. It's Dylan. Anyways, we disagreed on that, but very right that the mental capacity and the knowledge that they have to play with and play a step ahead, 2 steps ahead to compensate that difference. It can be done. And he's a very talented guy. And honestly, He's a very smart, cerebral, to use the real term, he's a cerebral guy who's played at the highest level, who's won at the highest level. And you played on Oregon. You played on, I mean, Oklahoma's been down. I got it. But you're talking about two world-class, college.
No, he's done his thing. He's put up numbers. He's fine. I don't think height's a thing. And at this point, it's 2025. These people have ways to coach it. And
that's right.
They'll probably bring in somebody that coached Drew Brees or something like that. And,
All right. Yeah. We're going to switch gears also in the state of Michigan. So those in Detroit and those in Michigan. I'm 53. I lived in Michigan. I just relocated to Florida full time in February. So 52 and a half years I was in Michigan. Born and raised in Detroit for the first 19 years of my life. So I grew up a Michigan slappy through all the Bo years, the Lloyd Carr years, then of course the later more difficult years with Rich Rodriguez and Brady Hoke, etc., on into the Harbaugh era. And I went nuts. I was actually working on predicting Harbaugh to replace Hoke earlier than when it happened, and then it didn't happen, and they re-signed Hoke, and then it finally happened, and I was ecstatic. And then the I don't know, tomfoolery, whatever the hell, that's a stupid word, but this idiocy that guy did with the program and all his nonsense for the first, 6 years, 7 years, didn't win any major game, was a catastrophic failure year after year after year, and Michigan fan lost me. I basically left rooting for the program, and I started finding myself actively rooting against Michigan because of the shit show that I thought that Jim Harbaugh had become. And he was a little bit of that at San Francisco. There is not too much debate that he could coach at the point when he got to Michigan. He did it in Stanford and of course he had Andrew Luck. He did it at San Francisco. And then I was like, all right, yeah. He's here at Michigan. He's going to do it. And then couldn't beat State, couldn't beat Ohio State. Then all of a sudden they turned it around. And we all know what's been going on for the last, 3 years, basically. It's roughly 3 years that these penalties encompass. And the lie after lie after lie after lie by the program that was above it all, that was never to be considered in that ilk. It was never to be considered like the Miami Hurricanes of old and some of the other schools, like things that Urban Meyer did through his career. In other schools, Michigan was always above that. It was the big block M. It was the proud, moral university, and they would never, ever do these things. And what do you know? A Michigan man came and did it. Not Brady Hoke, not Lloyd Carr, Jim Harbaugh, who played for Bo Schembechler, who was his quarterback, did all of this, knew about all of this, lied about all of this, ran away from all of this. And it's listed there. The NCAA dropped the levies yesterday. Not a surprise. What money can buy in life. And they're skating free. In my opinion, they're skating free. There's no real penalty here. $20 million, it's all over social yesterday. Would you pay $20 million for a national championship? Would you pay $30 million for a national championship? Would you give up some of this show order cause, which doesn't mean show cause order, which means nothing? Because Jim Harbaugh, he can't be around any athletic activity for the University of Michigan. And he knew it was coming. That's why he left, because he wouldn't have even been able to be around the program. So he left. He ran away, and he left them holding the ball. Luke, take it away, because you're Michigan slappy and I'm not.
Yeah, I'm on a totally other side than you. I feel like if it was that bad, they would have hit him with something harsher. Because, like you said, all the things that you just said about Michigan, the big block M and everything, there's nobody that they would love more to make an example out of than Michigan. If someone was going to be made, held accountable for the things that they did, it would probably be, I would assume it'd be Michigan. And I think they got let off however they got let off, the little penalties, the probation, whatever. They get to keep the national championship.
No postseason, man.
no postseason ban. I don't think that it was that harsh of a thing. I think a lot of people have done it, and Michigan just got caught doing it. And
But they didn't just
if
get
they
caught,
invented a way to cheat, if they invented the way and they exposed it and they did whatever, that's not even the year. They weren't doing it when they beat Alabama. They weren't doing it when they won the national championship. They weren't. I mean,
This
why
was
would you
going
take
on.
away?
This was going on.
They were already. It was already
This
getting
dates
talked
back.
about though.
Yeah, it was talked about, but they had already started. I mean, you saw the Netflix special. He flat out explained when it took place. The guy himself, Connor Stallions. This was
Yeah, it was
during
going
the
on.
run.
Yeah, during the run, doing the turnaround, but they had already faced Harbaugh had already faced his punishment or whatever. He had to sit out games. He had to sit out the Ohio State game. They weren't.
Self-imposed. Those were self-imposed.
Okay, but he wasn't. I'm just saying they weren't doing that in the Rose Bowl versus Alabama. They weren't doing it in the national championship. They damn sure weren't doing it last year when they had what's his name back at quarterback and they beat Ohio State and Alabama. Davis Mills, or not Davis Mills, but whatever his name was, I don't know. He was horrible.
Davis Mills.
They were terrible.
He was from Stanford, by the way.
Davis Mills was?
Yeah, he played for Stanford.
I don't even. What's their quarterback last year's name? David something.
Whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Okay. So I just think it's not like they were not good and then they were good. Okay, that's the argument that my roommate's trying to make.
All of this spying, it did not help them. That's your position?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying sure.
I'm asking.
But but I'm saying that a lot of people have done it, and we just got caught.
Okay.
I want to not say we because I don't go there. But another thing my roommate is saying is like they were not good, then they were good. What happened? Obviously, what happened? Like okay, but then they stopped and they were still good. So what happened? People get good all the like. I think that what should they have done? If you think that they got let off easy, what would be? You think they should have taken away the
important that you're missing here? Your parents were pretty tough on you. I know them. I like them a lot. When you lied about something and you got caught and you continued to lie, did you get in more trouble or less trouble?
More.
All right. They were caught and they continued to lie about it. And Sharon Moore went and erased 56 text messages to Connor Stallions. Now, they claim that they recovered them anyways because they subpoenaed the phone records from the phone company and, he got off. Why did Denard Robinson not show up? And he's got a 3-year show cause order because they were instructed by the university to stay away. They avoided things. They lied about it. They were caught and they continued to lie. To his dying last day, Jim Harbaugh was a liar through and through about all of this. He was the ringleader, and then he's going to walk around and insult everybody's intelligence and say, I had no idea. Are you freaking kidding me? This guy, Connor Stallions, it's not him. That's AI. That's all Photoshop. That's not him on the Central Michigan sidelines. It's been proven. The kid, the man, he's not a kid. The guy basically said it on Netflix. I'm not going to tell you that. It was you, dude. And you're stealing signs. You're not even a part of the staff. Harbaugh knew about all of this. He tried to detach himself, right? It's like a mafia boss. You have all your middlemen and they all deal with it. And you're the head of the snake over here. And then you claim no responsibility. He was responsible of it. He's a slimy dog. And he ran away and he left the whole university and his former teammate, Ward Manuel, holding the bag. And now Ward Manuel is going to go, apparently, and he's going to appeal all of this. Take the punishment. Shut the F up. You're complicit. You did all these things. And to make matters worse, you went and lied about it. Take your medicine and shut up. That's where I stand.
That's fair. That's fair. But what further punishment? I think take that. Yeah, I agree with you. They did some wrong. There was whatever. I'm not going to talk bad on them. That's my squad. But what further punishment should there be than that? I know that's all kind of BS and it's not whatever. It's a slap on the wrist.
I'm not necessarily saying there should be more punishment. What I'm saying is is this holier than thou university that has been constructed, and I was a believer and a buyer in it. I was one of them. And I just know that I said it yesterday on social and people laughed at me, called me names, made fun. Bo Schembechler is literally rolling around in his grave over this because something, and I didn't believe in him as a super great coach, but I believed in him as a strong moral guy and a builder of men and all of that. He was against all of this. He didn't buy into all of this. And somebody said in their response to me yesterday, you think this is the first time they cheated? They cheated before. And they just, like you said, they never got caught. Like you ain't cheat. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Like people say Saban cheated. People say, Dabble Sweeney and all of these guys, Sarkisian, whoever it is at these major universities, they believe that they've all been cheating and that there's always skirting around rules. And I'm not disagreeing with that. I believe that anybody's going to go as far as they can go, but they got caught and then they lied repeatedly over and over and they tried to avoid it all. And to me, that is an admission of guilt, and that is an arrogance that you think that you are above. You did wrong. You got caught. Own it. Negotiate, right? Negotiate the best you can to your position.
Yeah.
No one's knocking him for that. I don't think it should have been more, but stop acting like, this motivates us and it's us against everybody. You did it. The only reason people are talking about it, or last year or whenever Sharon Moore was suspended and, Harbaugh couldn't do the Ohio State game, because you did this. Don't point the finger.
Yeah. I mean, they got in trouble. They did something wrong. They got caught and they got in trouble. Now what I hate is the big stain. Like Michigan can't do anything now without that. I think that's the biggest punishment that they got.
The 4-year probation that they're going to be under the microscope?
No. The title of cheater and all that for probably the next, 50 years, probably forever. Probably after this forever, whatever Michigan does, Michigan's cheaters. They're known as cheaters now. They're known as liars. They're known as, and that sucks. That's the worst punishment you can get, besides like the death penalty or whatever.
Hey,
but
I'm not disagreeing with you. That's image. They're now one of the rest when they were considered not a part of it.
That's
whether they did or didn't, never got caught.
I'm happy you said that, because I was having a conversation earlier. Like now they're cheaters and this and that, and I said, okay, so we're brought down a peg, but now we're just with everybody else. That when you go to talk to Najee Harris, even on a podcast, they said, how much money did you make at Alabama before NIL? He's like, man, I can't, like you can't. They did it. They all did bad stuff. They just didn't get caught. So now Michigan is with everybody else instead of, you can't put yourself on that pedestal anymore.
It's more than that. So like I went to a Michigan game, I don't know, 3 years ago or whatever. It's the first I had been to in forever. And there's no marketing around the stadium and the scoreboard was awful. There's none of the lights going around the midsection that has scores or, flashing defense. It has it up on the board that looks like it was from when I was 15 years old, lacking technology. And it's like, this is the Michigan way. I just got fed up with all of that. It's a Michigan man, and we only hire Michigan men. Well, the ultimate Michigan guy that you hired led to this. It wasn't Lloyd Carr. It wasn't Brady Hoke. It was him. And then he ran away. That bothers me.
Yeah, there's a lot to be. Yeah, I get it. I don't like it either.
Do you agree that he ran away? That he couldn't stay?
No, he couldn't stay. I don't think it was as clear as it sounds. I think he was talking about going to the NFL for years, for the last 3 years.
I got you.
I think it kind of was. I mean, it was a little kick in the ass to get out of there. You got to go, but it wasn't like, oh no, we're gonna get in trouble. I'm out. It was convenient. It was very convenient, and it definitely played a part.
Yeah, I want to go to the NFL. Okay, this is gonna make me go to the NFL. And that's another thing.
I mean, another convenient. Go ahead.
No, please finish.
I was going to say another convenient thing is they won the national championship. Like, it's not like they went through all this and they built it up and, brought Michigan back on being contenders. Didn't win, and then he ran away. Like, they won, and then he was like, okay, we did it. We accomplished it.
That makes
my quarterback's gone. My team's gone. Let's move on. I'm just
No,
it makes it
it's
worse,
not
doesn't
your
it? I'm
quarterback.
just
It's not your team is gone. What about all the people you recruited?
yeah, that's true, but that was a little
He's the
it's
brand.
true, but I'm saying it phased out. It was like it was okay to go into next. I'm just saying convenience sake. Like it doesn't feel to me like he ran away from Michigan. It was more like he did what he wanted to do for however many years,
I got it. He
and
won.
then
He ultimately wanted to win the national championship. Yes,
yeah,
I got it. That's what he came there to do. I get
yeah,
it, and he succeeded in that way. But the way in which he went about it, and the way in which he denied and acted like he knew nothing about,
yeah,
I can't. I just can't respect that. Say it. You know what? I was negligent. Like, let's just assume he wants to play the card that he didn't know anything about it. I'm the head coach of this university. There's the Michigan brand, and then there's my name next to it. And I'm the leader of this organization, right? Of this university for its football program. And I played for this university under, my idol, and I was wrong. He never came out and said that. Not to my
right.
knowledge.
No, he just said he didn't know anything that was going on.
Yeah, and it's bullshit, and it's a lie, and it's just basically calling us all stupid. The guy knows what's going on, and even if he didn't hear it or see it directly, you're getting information. It's just like the whole Joe Paterno thing. Sorry, there's no way all that stuff happened by Sandusky for 20 years, 25 years, and Joe Paterno didn't know about it. Nobody
Right.
went to. Well, it was later found out that people did go to him, but he didn't push for it. And look at what the damage that was done. These are two totally different things. All right. That's children
Yeah.
or young people. I got it. But this whole I didn't know about it.
Right.
Come on, man.
No, I get it.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything. What'd you say?
No, you take the choice to take that role. It's just like being an owner of a company. You're not involved in every single little thing if you're a little bit of a size. But at the end of the day, everything starts and stops with you.
Yeah.
Failure, success, everything, you're involved in it. You have to have your finger on the pulse, and to walk around and say you knew nothing about it and maybe this guy Connor Stallions, as the Netflix special highlighted, is that he was this Michigan slappy and he always wanted to be involved, and he's just wanted to go into this high-tech investigation of stealing signs and stuff. Fine, but don't play us for fools. That's my thing. Really, really, it is scarred. It is stained. Michigan will never, ever be thought of in the way that it was. Will things go on? Will this all go away? Yeah, they don't care about 30 million. They just get more money from boosters. 10% away from your football budget. Nobody cares. They'll filter in money another way. There's endless amounts of money going into that university. So that's not the issue. What I see the issue is you are no longer what you were once considered. You were, even if they did cheat, you never got caught. You were considered above it, and now you're considered in it. And you're still lying about it. You're still denying it, and that's the part that bothers me.
Yeah, and that sucks as a fan too, because you have a bit of superiority especially being from Michigan. You're not just jumping on that bandwagon. I'm from Michigan. It just felt nice. It felt like clean and good to say and powerful almost.
And I'm not saying Nick Saban is a coaching idol of mine. I am not sitting here. Mike Krzyzewski is another one. I mean, Duke has that clean image. We're going to sit here, and we all going to say that Duke never paid a player ever before NIL. I'm not going to sit here and say that. No. I'm not dying on that hill. I'm not.
No.
Okay, Jerry Tarkanian, was he at Jerry Tarkanian's level and the way Tarkanian did his things at UNLV to get Larry Johnson and people like that back in the day with their great team that actually beat Duke in the national championship? I'm not going to say he was Tarkanian, but did everybody go to Duke to just play for Mike Krzyzewski and to go to this school that's really, really difficult academically? That's the place I want to go? I'm not convinced of that. I'm not.
Right.
It's not to say that all of those people are innocent. But these guys, maybe they did things before. Somebody said they've been cheating. This is not new. They just you ain't trying. You ain't if you're not cheating, you're not trying, and it's not cheating until you get caught, as they say. They got caught, but now they're denying it. So that's whatever. I don't want to keep repeating it. But moving on. Before we get to the lovely gals of the WNBA and the historically dumb shit again They can't get out of their own way. You wanted to say something about the Kansas City Chiefs with regard to what Colin Cowherd and his, I saw one of his team say the same thing about the Kansas City Chiefs are dead. The dynasty's over. And oh my God.
Yeah, so you're big on the it's not a window when you're a good franchise. It's more of a rebuild, reboot, and rebuild. And this feels weird. It's like Andy Reid's not very healthy. He's got some health issues. He's getting to the point where is he still going to be there for much longer? I see him having a hard time walking around and stuff on the sidelines. But Mahomes is still in his prime. It's usually, I feel like when there's like a dynasty like this, it's all at the same time. Like everything comes together, and this feels very like not that way. Travis Kelce's so much older than Patrick Mahomes, but they're like part of this dynasty. But Mahomes will be around a lot longer than Kelce, and then they might lose their coach. So I don't know. I see it kind of unraveling a little bit. I wouldn't go as far as to say, like Cowherd said, they're not making the playoffs this year. I think that's crazy. I think Kelsey's not coming back for another year to not make the playoffs. And I was just curious where you stood on that, because the Lions, if you think the Lions don't have a window, then you definitely don't think the Chiefs have a window, right?
I mean, you've got some unknown with what happens to Rashee Rice and when his suspension's going to come down. They just announced it that the potential ruling is going to get pushed, so he's good for the first 4 games. How long is that for going 119 miles an hour or whatever it was, and what he did? We don't know, and that'll factor into it. But when you are that well coached and you are that well organizationally structured, and you have pieces and parts all over the field, and you have somebody like Patrick Mahomes, it is not like Travis Kelce is their only weapon. They won basically in spite of him last year, right? It's his biggest down year. And I know it's his security blanket and all that. It's his go-to guy. But if people don't think that the other players that they have on their team, and Xavier Worthy is not going to be a new guy to go to, along with Rashee Rice, and figure out the backfield and Pacheco back healthy and stuff, and Noah Gray and people like this, it isn't the end. If Patrick Mahomes was gone this year and you had, I don't know, what's his face? Kyle Allen from the Lions was going to be your new quarterback, or Aiden O'Connell from the Raiders, you might question that. Steve Spagnuolo's still on defense. They've got some players still on defense. They've got some game breakers on defense. Again, you pick up in certain areas. And as far as Andy Reid, maybe, moving along, not quite as good as he once did, I put nothing into that. And if he went down tomorrow for some reason, there's going to be somebody there. If you don't think that he has not groomed his replacement for years now, which was thought to be Eric Bieniemy, and there's some issues there, if you don't think that a guy like Pete Carroll is grooming his replacement and he just got to the Raiders, they will be okay. Are they going to be 16-1? No. Are they going to be 15-2? Probably not. 14-3? Probably not. Did they win this incredible amount of close games last year? And Colin Cowherd's employee says, hey, they went 7-0 in 1-score games. If you just go 4-3 in those games, well, that's that much of a switch, and it changes your whole season. Yeah. If I was 6'5", I would have got it like you. I would have got a basketball scholarship.
Yeah.
I mean, we could say a whole bunch of ifs.
Yeah, that's true. I feel like there's a romance around the idea of like the dynasty among fans and like sports talk and everything, like, and the window dynasty window kind of. Lions are good, but they're probably just dismiss teams that shouldn't be dismissed almost. Like you saw, I forget who it was. It might have been Cowherd again, but they had like the Lions at 9 or 10 in the league right now. Why?
What?
Yeah, I think it was Cowherd. I'll find it. I'll text it to you. But yeah, and the reasoning was they lost OC and DC. But you can't just toss these teams out. Like they do it with the Chiefs every year. Every single year, the last 4 years. Are the Chiefs going to win the
Super Bowl every year? No.
No.
There's only one Brady, and Belichick together. But Mahomes is about the closest thing that you're going to find.
That we've seen. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I've been around a long time, and I'm telling you,
that I've seen.
He's in that conversation, and the guy just finds a way. You could give him all the talent, you can give him mid-range talent, and you can give him a team that's decimated with injury or suspension or whatever else. He finds a way. And until that changes, not much changes. That's where I stand on it. Anybody rooting out Kansas City out of the conversation is insane. Are they going to the Super Bowl every year? No. Again, there's too much parity. There's a lot of strong teams, all of that type of stuff. Yes. Yeah. But it is not over for Kansas City, as in terms of they're not going to be a very, very high level team in it to win it year in and year out. They're organizationally structured to succeed. Next man up.
Actually, I have a really good point that I'd like to share that I just thought of. So we go through these phases as sports fans, and I just thought of some people, and it checks out with everybody. And Mahomes is on that trajectory right now. I think we'll start with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, when he first started, he was an underdog story. Everyone loved him. He was late draft pick, won the Super Bowl. No one really knew who he was. Fans loved him. Then after a while, there was a bit of fatigue. There was a bit of he was cheating. He was doing this and that. And then it switched again when he went to the Bucs. It was like he was like a cool dad, like kind of older guy. Phases. Yeah. And, you think even like you go to LeBron. LeBron had his ups and downs. Everyone loved him. Everyone hated him. And Mahomes, when he came out, everybody loved him. And he was the next GOAT. We've never seen anything like him before. And like right now we're in that weird area where it's like he can't do right. They're done. He's out. Everyone just wants him out. I don't know, but you said before it's fatigue. I think it's like program or something that we just got to go, oh, we liked him for 3 years now. We got to not like him anymore. And so I think that's where we are.
One of the things that I studied a lot as a business owner and as a former coach is that there are seasons of life in our lives. There's all sorts of seasons. There's marriage, there's single life, there's you find somebody, there's marriage, there's career, there's you have children, your children have children. These are all stages and seasons of life. It's very much that way in sports too. That's why I always say life, sports, and business is connected, because they all have seasons. And so LeBron James, there's fatigue, there's exhaustion, and then his attitude made it worse. People hated Brady because he just won, always won. Every year we're seeing the same team. People wanted to see a different team. LeBron had a little bit of that, but it's LeBron's attitude and the way he conducted himself and the team jumping and the me attitude and all of the bullshit. People had double, triple fatigue. It's like he's been around 20 years. He's 40 years old. He's won a lot. We see him a lot. We want to see Oakland, Oklahoma City, and Indiana. We don't want to see LeBron. So yes, there is a part of that.
LeBron's making his turn back now, though. If you see it, you can see it's changed a little bit on social media. I'm not saying as a player, but like the social media, like the narrative around him.
He's ruined. He's ruined. There's 25, 30% of people like you that are going to be diehards about that guy, but the public is done. America loves an underdog story. I think that's what you were trying to say earlier. Oh, Brady's the 6th round draft pick. Drew Bledsoe gets hurt. No one's heard of Brady. He comes in. Yeah, let's root for this guy. Okay, now he's too good. We don't want to root for him. Who's the next guy? Russell Wilson. All right, let's root for Russell Wilson. You think that LeBron at 40, that suddenly everyone's going to be patting him on his back? I'm
just saying from now, comparing now to maybe 5 years ago, it's like people are starting to give him more credit for the past and put him more on the list than they were before. At least on my Twitter feed, I'm seeing a lot of people.
I don't know who's on your Twitter feed, bro.
It used to be so much hate. Everyone was hating, and I can feel a shift. Like no one's really mad at him anymore. They want to see. They say it's crazy he's still doing it at this. Like we got to give him his credit now because when he's done, we're gonna say we wasted a whole generational talent just hating on the guy. I've seen that. I'll start sending you tweets. You'll probably get sick of it because you disagree with it all. But
I see more former superstars, more high-level athletes, even the guys like Jeff Teague and the guys like Michael Beasley, these guys that never amounted to anything big at the NBA level, have all come out and told the real truth about this guy. And about how if you looked at him versus Kobe, like he was easy to defend. Like imagine that. So many have come out and said that. The young word is he doesn't have a bag, right? He doesn't have game. And I couldn't agree any more. He was an explosive, physical guy that had a quick first step, that was strong and powerful and explosive. Beyond that, ain't much there. I totally disagree, and I just put my bias aside of I lived through the Jordan years, and Jacob, I hope you're watching. I lived through the Jordan years, but I'm telling you, this guy will not be remembered in the same way because of the way he went about it, because of the way he chased other players and championships and better people around him. None of those guys left. Isaiah, Bird, Magic, Jordan, Kobe. You want to say Jordan left? He left when he became an owner of the Wizards at like 39. LeBron left in his prime,
right?
Because he couldn't handle
I'm not
it.
saying he's got a great his legacy is not. It's not intact. It's not great. But what I'm talking about more is we're comparing to where we are right now on this Patrick Mahomes shift. It's not so much about an underdog thing. It's about like. People are saying the Chiefs are done. They hate them, but watch. My prediction is maybe 5 years, everyone's going to be back on and say Mahomes is the GOAT, and Mahomes is the GOAT. Everyone's going to love it. Why? I don't know why that took a turn. But right now, I'm saying I'm starting to see that swing back for LeBron where it's just less harsh. People are kind of –
the stuff
no
I
one's
see every
coming at his
day.
throat anymore. No one's choking him out every day. He used to get it so bad on social media.
We have two different feeds because he's getting crushed. He's literally getting crushed on my feed every day. I don't know who you're following, but I follow all the big people and then the trolls. I have the trolls too, the Skip Baylesses and people like that. And he actually just had a sit down with Sage Steele, formerly of ESPN. And I haven't watched it yet, but I saw some of the clips, and that looks so interesting about his take about LeBron. And he's one of the few that know a lot about LeBron and the story, some of the stories behind it. And I'm not a Skip Bayless fan, but I see more hate than ever before. It's played out, and he continues to do it. Like, why would you work out in front of an LA Clippers sign while all this is going on? I mean, he does things intentionally to stir it up. And I don't know if he likes it or what he does, but does a lot of this shit on purpose. You know, Luka goes out and loses all that weight, and then suddenly here comes the videos of LeBron because he feels like he needs your attention. Whereas Luka, maybe, you know what? Maybe Dallas letting him go, shook him up or whatever. Luka's the man and LeBron's not anymore. And I can argue whether or not Luka's the man. I got an opinion on that. But LeBron doesn't like being second fiddle to anybody, so he's got to go make it about him again. People are tired of it.
Okay, maybe a bad example for the snake analogy, but I got another good one. It's Matt Stafford in Detroit. He was an underdog. He was the number one pick. That's not underdog, nothing like that. Loved him, loved his toughness. Then after a while, it was like Stafford's the reason we're losing. We need to get rid of him. And then now, like, we love him. People in Detroit don't watch the Rams with hate towards Stafford. Everyone wants to see Stafford do good unless they're playing the Lions, obviously.
Okay.
So, like, it's just another example of that. Like, we loved him, hated him, love him again. It happens with every good player.
They didn't win with him.
Right.
Period. And when they did go to the playoffs, the couple of times, you knew they were getting shellacked. And you knew that he was going to come up small in the biggest moments, and he did. And so he was synonymous with the Lions and losing. Now, when he entered out of Georgia as the number one pick for the Lions, he inherited 40 years of futility, 45 years. And that is a lot to take on. To say that the best quarterback you had previous to that is freaking, from 40 years prior to you being there, and you're, number one pick, and you're the savior. So Kate Cunningham is a little bit in that, not to the same degree, because the Pistons have had 3 championships in the modern era.
Right.
But Stafford, he had it against him. I'll give him that credit. But the dude was out of shape and unprepared for the first 5 or 6 years of his career. And he didn't do things when it mattered, and he wasn't that guy to me. You could say Kenny Galladay. I'll always remember that he's the guy who made Kenny Galladay better. And when Kenny Galladay didn't have Stafford, suddenly he was nothing, and he was out of the league in about 5 seconds. Okay, to the Giants.
Yeah, he was one of the he was a good receiver.
And then next thing, he's at the local Publix bagging groceries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Stafford made him. I'll grant you that. But Stafford never made his teams appreciably better. Even if he didn't have all of the great talent around him, he did not make the team appreciably better. And when I look at a team like what Brady did with David Patton and Troy Brown and Deion Branch and all these type of guys that were nothing, fucking nothing, literally nothing. And these guys are producing, Wes Welker and Justin Edelman, and those guys were a little bit better than the previous names I mentioned. But Stafford didn't do that. And people got tired of it. It was more losing, and he became synonymous with it, and they wanted to see him gone. And most of his stats, by the way, his Hall of Fame stats were from 21, 28 behind against prevent defenses, and they're going to give you the 12s and the 15s, 18s.
Stat Padford.
Yes, there you go.
But I understand it. I understand why it happens. I just feel like for the first time, I'm taking a step back and seeing like the kind of trajectory that everyone goes on as fans, and I saw it happening with Patrick Mahomes. Like the first show we did, I was like, I don't get why. I started to think about it. Like, why is everybody hating on this guy now? Like they're saying he's not top 3 or whatever in the league, or he's not the best in the league, whatever they were saying at the time. And now it's like, okay, probably the biggest guy in this industry is Colin Cowherd right now. Do you think he's up there? Yeah, he's gonna say that's a bold thing to say. They're not gonna make the playoffs if they're. That's the pinnacle right now. That's the team. Maybe the Eagles, but to say Patrick Mahomes doesn't make the playoffs.
I don't think that's necessarily hate. He's looking at their division is better. He's looking at the Raiders are far better. There are some things, the Chargers, there are some things that have changed. Okay. It's not a bunch of lower teams now. That doesn't mean, and remember this too, and you know this, we lived it. When people think you are no longer good, that is actually a good thing for the person that they're saying it about, because it's new motivation. And one of my mentors talks about it all the time, wrote a book about it. It's called Choose Your Enemies Wisely by Patrick Bet-David. When those people start to think that you are no longer any good, you can take that and channel it and funnel it and use it as motivation and leverage to maintain, sustain, and grow it. So like if you're Patrick Mahomes, at this point, how much better can you get? It's people like Colin Cowherd. It's people like other people that would say or do things that make you want to get up in the morning. And dude, 2 months ago, they showed him on a boat, and dude was having like a little pouch in his stomach, more than the normal Patrick Mahomes. Like he was never a cut guy. Let's just say it. But dude was looking heavily uncut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But if I was a Chiefs hater and I wanted to see him out, I would see that that stuff that Colin Cowherd says, and I'd be like, stop saying that. Stop. Put him at 1. Keep putting them at 1 until they fall. Don't do that where you're gonna drop them down and then it's like, okay, that's just a reboot for them. Like, we're at 6 or 7 or whatever. Okay, cool.
Athletes like that. Competitive people love that. Salespeople love that. The minute you want to start saying shit is the minute you just injected them with another level of fuel. It's like Nas. And he will respond to that because he's built that way. They love that. That's what drives it. I think you're a more type B personality than me. I thrive. I mean, the minute you start talking shit about me is the minute you just empowered me. It's just how I'm built. There's a whole bunch of people that don't agree with what I'm doing right now, that think that this is all a waste of time and it's me about me. And they've said it. And I've heard rumblings and I've heard from other people. People are always, that's why we talked about it last week or the week before. People are always going to talk shit. They just do. People, First, it was people yelling at me about you're saying this stuff with 72 people following you on X. And then it was, you only got 250 followers. Then it was 500. Then it was 6. Then it was 7. Then it was 8. Then it was 9. Then I had somebody say to me just a week ago, it's like 960 followers. You can't even get over 1,000. Well, now I'm over 1,000. So now you're going to tell me I only have 1,000 and I'm going to get 2. And then when you tell me that's not enough, I'm going to get 10. And when you tell me that's not enough, I'm going to get 50,000. And that's just what makes high-level competition guys do it. Jordan was built that way. Brady was built that way. Jordan was on his face all the time. Brady, it wasn't on his face, but just look at his sideline rants with Bill O'Brien and getting in his team's face. He thrived off it. He lived it. He breathed it. And that, I think, Mahomes, you don't always see it on his face, but he's got that fire. I'm telling you. He'll be all right.
Yeah. He'll be fine. Hopefully I think it's just like you were saying, it's fuel. Like that's why it's like I want to say that the Chiefs are not as good as they were a couple years ago, and maybe they'll be closer to I don't think they're going to be the 1 seed pretty much. I don't think they're going to be,
which is okay.
Which is fine, but then
how about the Lions in their 1 seed last year? That isn't always the best place to be for the reasons we're talking about.
Yeah. I agree. That was, man.
How many times have you seen a team that runs the table and has this massive record, then they get a week off, and then versus the team that had to fight to get into the playoffs, that's humming on all cylinders, and they come in and it's just like they're just rolling, nothing stopping them. You can't even. There's nothing.
I think that was. I'd have to look it up, but I think that was the Browns versus Steelers when Baker beat the Steelers. I want to say the Steelers were, for whatever reason, the 1 seed. They started like 11-0 or something like that, and then kind of fell off at the end, but did enough to get that 1 seed. And
that's part of life.
Baker smashed them. Baker killed them.
Part of life. That's part of the seasons of life and of business and of sports. They go through them, and the greatest are the ones that can ride that wave and it doesn't eat them, because it can eat you. It can eat, especially like these big markets, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and then these teams in these places like Cleveland that are so thirsty and the fans are demanding, or how we were in Detroit and the Cubs for so long. It's like enough, and everything's hatred and spewing negativity, right? So, all right.
I agree.
So, this one, I had become, yes, I'm going to admit this on live stream, and for God knows how many people to see this on recording, I had become a fan of the WNBA because of my basketball background, of Caitlin Clark, of the way she carried herself, of this fandom that was thrust upon her, and I believe rightfully so, in terms of her ability, in terms of her demeanor, the way she carried herself, very articulate. It could be your leader of a league. And since then, it's been this total shit show. I'm not going to get into all the details, but the league first, with the officiating, with the racism, with the runways and all the stuff, and then the teams followed it. And they lost a lot of eyeballs, and I talked to a lot of people, and they lost a lot of eyeballs. They gave up on it. They were interested. Now they're gone. And yesterday, it came out that the Players Union for the WNBA rejected an offer from the WNBA on a 4-time raise to the minimum and to the maximum. I'm going to play you this gal, Satu, and listen to what she says.
I think we really have to put an emphasis on the players that are in our league right now.
Let me change the screen. That would help.
Growing, I think we can focus on our players. In the union, we got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face, and I think we really have to put an emphasis on the players that are in our league right now. But I love to see the league growing. I think, adding these teams in Philly and Detroit, like, that's how amazing is that the league can grow. But how cool would it also be to have like a little bit expansion on the rosters. Like, let's focus on the teams that have everything set up right now, and maybe focus on the teams also that find excuses continuously to lack investment into their players before we focus on adding more to the grain of people that can't really be sustained.
All right, I'm going to rewind that one more time because the first part I was adjusting the volume and we missed the very, very first part.
I think we can focus on our players in the union. We got a proposal from the league, which was honestly a slap in the face, and I think we really have to put an emphasis on the players that are in our league right now. But I love to see the league growing. I think, adding these teams in Philly and Detroit, like, that's how amazing is that the league can grow. But how cool would it also be to have like a little bit expansion on the rosters? Like, let's focus on the teams that have everything set up right now, and maybe focus on the teams also that find excuses continuously to lack investment into their players before we focus on adding more to the grain of people that can't really be sustained.
All right. This one. So the WNBA players' minimum salary is $66,000. And the maximum salary is $250,000. This is per year. The league went from $66K to $250K on the minimum. And on the maximum went from $250K to $1 million. Okay. The revenue sharing is at 8 or 9% was the offer. The men NBA is at 47 or 48%. The gals have said, and their union has said, we want a bigger piece of the pie because of ABC reason, and our arenas are full, this and that. Let me just explain this. Let me try this as best as I can. One more time. You want to talk about exhaustion. This is delusion at the highest level, and here's why. I've shown all the data. I'm not going to show it again. It was 6,000 to 7,000 fans for basically 10 straight years on average. It was like 6,600 per arena. And that changed when Caitlin Clark came in. It went 9,000 in her first year, and it went to 11,500 average per arena on this year. And then that fluctuated because she got injured and a number of other things that have taken place. I was a sponsor for the WNBA, for the Pistons and the WNBA's Detroit Shock back in the early 2000s. The way that the package was sold to me is, you can have, you get season tickets, and then you would be given other tickets to give to clients. So as a sponsor, you would be given these freebies to get people to come into the game, to the Detroit Shock game back at the time. And the reason that was to add value to a sponsor or to a season ticket holder, that in the depth of your season, of your entire calendar year, when you didn't have concerts in the arena, or you didn't at the Palace of Auburn Hills, that you didn't have the Pistons playing, there was the Detroit Shock to go see. And they tried to sell that as additional inventory and as additional value. For years, that's how it was at all of the different arenas. And then 6 relocated and 5 sold, and it just kind of floundered. Caitlin Clark brought up the popularity and brought in the eyeballs, and then the so-called rivalry between Angel Reese and her hit at the national championship run there in college, and then went on into the pros, and people followed it. So they had this big burst. And then Caitlin Clark, in my opinion, was targeted. There was racism, and everything about the WNBA became about everything non-basketball related. Who's the hottest? Who's doing the rap? Who's doing the dancing? Who's doing the podcast? Who dresses the nice? All of this stuff. The roller derby on the basketball court, and the wrestling and the fighting and the name calling, and just all of this stuff. The demand is not there for the WNBA. Off the top of my head, Washington's team and Atlanta's team play in an arena that is 4,200 for one and about 48 or 49, 5,000 for the other. And that's done strategically because they cannot go in large arenas that are 16, 17, 18,000 capacity, because it would just be empty and it would be bad optically. Such as what the Shock won 3 championships as a WNBA team back in the day. So they were one of the better audience and attendance wise, but it was not a money maker individually to stand on its own. So you have Boston's minority owner that just went and spent $325 million on the worst team in the WNBA, record-wise. $325 million because they've bought into this hook, line, and sinker, and they're selling sex, Luke, in my opinion. Yeah. They're not, when I say sex, the sexualization of it, the outfits, and they're bringing dogs to the arena and these podcasts, and it's like, this is like, it had me for a minute and then it lost me. And so many people I monitor, it had them and then it lost them because it's everything but the game. And now a 400% raise, they say it's a slap in the face.
That's insane.
What? What do you say?
That's insane. I think that's like, what do you want? You know, what have you done to the I don't know. I feel like the raise is more than enough. I think it's too much. I think they're dumb for offering that. And then to go on the opposite side of the coin and say, yeah, that's not enough for us it doesn't make sense to me. That's crazy.
Well, they got a $2.2 billion TV deal over the next 11 years. That's a lot of money. It's more money than the WNBA ever had a contract for such a thing in its history. And so when you walk into Indiana Stadium and you see 17,000 people, and it's very clear why they are there. They started to come because of Caitlin Clark and then Sophie Cunningham. All due respect to all the ladies out there, she started selling sex. They started selling sex appeal. Sex appeal. Let me be clear about that. Not selling sex, selling sexualizing themselves, sex appeal, the revealing outfits and clothing, walking with all this low cut stuff and high cut stuff. And she's doing all of the stuff on social media in a thong and in a bathing suit, folks. And she's pretty good ball player. Not going to take that away from her. She's surprisingly good for how she sells herself. Usually it's not that. You know, Kelsey Plum's another one that's doing it. Lexi Hall's another one that's doing it. Angel Reese has done it. There's other girls. What's the tall girl's name? Cameron Bryn. Cameron Breen sells herself in the same way with the short skirts and all this type of stuff. Understand and recognize what's going on, please. And there was another fight in a game, a wrestling match in the game the other day. Somebody got thrown to the ground, and then she's ripping the jersey. And it's like these cat fights that break out. Yeah. You went to a cat fight and a basketball game broke out, or you went to ladies roller derby and somebody rolled out a ball. That's what it feels like. And there's some talent in the league. No debating that. You're going to expand it now by 2 teams next year and 3 more by 2030. And it's like, I don't see it. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Do you see it? Do you see them being able to put another 50 to 70 players in this league and succeed?
No, I don't. They're not. I don't know what the numbers say, but right now, to me, I know they just got that deal, but it's just a terrible product right now. Like, it's no one wants to watch. They had me hooked a little bit too at first. I remember watching. I watched the whole March Madness of the girls. Caitlin Clark's senior year. Miami was nice. They had the twins. That was great. But yeah, that was cool to watch too. But
that's
now
why you moved to Florida. Now I know.
So anyways, I was into it. And then switching over to like going to the WNBA, like I was kind of excited. I was going to watch Caitlin Clark's debut and everything. And I did. And it was just like over time, it's just been like a waste of time to watch or try to keep up with. And I don't see but that's just me. Maybe adding more teams to me would be like, like even more, stay away.
Diluting.
Exactly. Diluting something that's already not a good product.
Mm-hmm. You'd have to have another 10 or 12, Caitlin Clark's and Paige is in there. And this is not to say that there can't be some of them. And Sabrina Ionescu is a terrific player. I think she's phenomenal. But there's just not enough of it. And again, it's like the officiating, the WNBA is guilty in this too. It's not just the girls. It's like they weren't ready for this. And you turn on a game and it's like, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore in terms of an officiate. I don't know what a foul is anymore. I don't know. There's a carry, and it's not just them. It's at the NBA level too. So all no shade to them. Nothing's a carry anymore. It's like I grew up on the game. I coached the game. I coached against it. I taught players in practice. You cannot carry the ball and turn it over like that. It's not an in and out dribble when you totally turn the palm of your hand and the ball is facing upward and then you turn it like that. That's a carry. And there's no regulation. There's no rules. It's officiated differently. And I think they wanted it. I really think they wanted it for eyeballs because you had to give a reason for people to tune in. And then when Sophie took down what's her face from Ohio State, took her down like that, then you had this big, spectacle. And now when Caitlin comes back, I have believed forever that she would not be back for the regular season. She may be in the next week. She started running again, by the way. I don't know if you have followed that, but she's back doing more active running. So versus the last time, she came right back from injury and didn't really work herself up to it. Now they're working her up to it a little bit, which is the better decision, obviously. Maybe they just didn't do it right. So we'll see. But when she comes back, there'll be a bunch of eyeballs again, and we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah. And to me, like, it's just not sustainable. It's like everyone tunes in once somebody gets laid out. And then it's like not popular but Caitlin Clark's coming back, so everyone watch again for a night. And then
and are they going to go hit her?
Yeah. And Sophie Cunningham wore a bikini to the – okay, hold on. Let me watch tonight. I haven't seen it in 2 months, but I'll watch tonight, I guess. Like, it's not sustainable, especially you want to add teams and stuff. I don't
400% raise. That's a slap in the face. For the second shortest league season of all sports. It's 40 games or 42 games. Second only to football.
Yeah, bottom line's 250. You said, like, go play. How many games did they play?
42. I
think it's 42. You make $250,000 to be a sixth man on a WNBA team. Make $250K. That's like insane. I think that's awesome.
And endorsements.
Yeah, and the time and whatever freedom to make your own money on the side. Which if you're gonna do the whole naked thing or sexualizing thing, then you probably make more than $200K on the off season. So
Caitlin Clark's making, I think it worked out to be $76,000 this year. On her basketball money.
Yeah.
She's got a $28 million deal with Nike. So she's an exception to the rule. Most of them don't have those deals, but Sabrina and Sophie and Lexi and Angel and all of them, they have major, and Brianna Stewart and a whole bunch. They have sponsorship deals.
But if you're making $60K a year, and then I get there's a reason that there's like a president of the players committee or whatever, but there's probably a lot of girls in that league making $60K. Like, wait a second. What did they say? I was going to make $250, and you just said a slap in the face. Like
they think they're going to hold out for more, and they've threatened to hold out, and I don't think anybody will miss it if they do. Angel Reese said, "We'll sit out." Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and sit out. The amount of people's attention deficit and what they got going on, I don't think. You have your diehards. You have your diehards that they're all in it, and they're just crazy about it. Those people, would be affected. But on the grand scale,
not enough.
And the TV contract ain't letting that happen. You ain't sitting out.
Football's back.
Exactly.
We're good, girls.
Last thing, did you want to throw anything in about fantasy football before we let everybody go?
We can save it. We'll save it because it's not.
All right.
We got 2 weeks?
Yeah. All right. Closing it up, folks. For week 46, it's crazy. We're almost at a year of episodes here. Please, patreon.com/PB Sports. That's our main platform where you can come on in as a free member or a paid member, depending on your preference. But certainly be a founding member of what it is we're doing. It's exciting. We've got a lot of things going on and lots of packages up there to pick. And the PB Picks section is up there. There are monthly packages up there. There are season packages up there. College football starts next week. I will release one free pick here in the next hour up on X at PB Sports Talks. It'll be before the 1 o'clock games. There's a lot of 1 o'clock games today. I will be putting that up in about 25 minutes. So log on to at PB Sports Talks with an S on the end on X. and then follow along. That's the #1 social platform where things go first. So if you're on Facebook, it doesn't go there as fast. It goes X, and it goes on Patreon fastest. Last free pick today. College football starts next week, and it's not up there, but it will be. You will be able to get a one-day pass for opening weekend or opening day of college football next Saturday. So thanks again, everybody. Luke, thank you. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. I end every week's show with this. I'll do it once more. Hug someone, hold someone, love someone. Life is short. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Lions.
Go Lions.
See you, Luke. Bye-bye.
Yeah, what?